Hi, this is Paul at School Bus Talk. At School Bus Talk, we talk about everything having to do with school buses, focusing on getting kids to and from school safely to promote learning. So on this 20th episode of School Bus Talk, I'm going to do an incident report on a bus crash in Bolivar, Missouri. On incident report, what we do is we look at information available on the internet about bus incidences and crashes in the USA and Canada, and take a deeper dive to see if there's things that we can learn to become safer school bus drivers. This school bus crash happened near Bolivar, Missouri on Thursday, May 18th, 2023, approximately 2 p.m. near the intersection of Missouri State Highway 13 and East 490th Road. The school bus was going northbound on Missouri 13, returning a third grade class from a field trip. The bus was following a truck pulling a trailer when a hay bale fell off the trailer into the roadway. The police reported that the bus hit the hay bale. Then the bus swerved to the left, skidded across the median, went into the southbound lanes of the highway, across them, and came to rest on the roadside ditch on the west side of the highway. You can see from the crash scene photos that the school bus was a Type 1 conventional. It had extensive front end damage to the forward control area. The engine hood came off and landed nearby the bus where it finally came to rest. The crash scene photos show that the weather appears to be fair. There were no adverse road conditions. Google Maps shows that the terrain is open farmland with rolling hills. Missouri 13 is a 4-lane divided highway with a center median strip. The street level Google Maps image shows that the northbound lanes have clear visibility. There's a wide shoulder with a roadside ditch. The highway is posted at 65 miles an hour as the speed limit. 35 people were on the bus, 19 people were injured, 17 children and 2 adults. All 19 were transported to the hospital. All injuries were reported to be minor. All victims were reported to be treated and released from the hospital. My heart goes out to all the victims of this crash. I'm thankful that this accident was not much worse. I think it's very fortunate that this bus didn't overturn, and there is no information reported about the driver of the truck and trailer. School counselors responded to the school the next day to help the victims. Sources for this video are listed in the description below. So, what can we learn from this school bus crash to be better drivers? The first thing I want to say is the school bus driver in this crash did an outstanding job keeping control of the bus and bringing it safely to a stop. I think we're fortunate that this crash was not worse. There was severe damage to the front end control area of this bus. It must have been a terrifying shock to all the adults and kids on the bus. Let's take a more detailed view of the crash scene photos and some of the Google Maps street level images. The crash scene photos show the bus skid marks where it lost control on the northbound lanes and skidded across the median strip. Google street level images from July 2023 show that you can see the bus tire skid marks in the northbound lane. This image, it looks like the bus was traveling in the number 2 lane when it hit the hay bale. The skid marks show that it the bus swerved to the left and went across the median. I'm estimating from these images that from the point of impact to where the bus stopped came to rest in the west side ditch is about 200 feet or 61 meters. This school bus crash demonstrates an important defensive driving principle called total stopping distance. There are two elements to total stopping distance. The first element is reaction time. Reaction time is the elapsed time between when a driver perceives a hazard and then is able to take action to avoid that hazard. The second factor is braking distance, and braking distance is the distance that a vehicle travels from the time the driver applies to the brakes until the vehicle comes to a complete stop. Total stopping distance equals the distance that the vehicle travels during the reaction time plus the braking distance. The rule of thumb is that it takes about 3/4 of a second for a human being in good physical condition to perceive a hazard and then react and take action. There is no information in the news reports how fast the school bus was traveling before this crash, but let's just assume that it was cruising at about 60 miles an hour. As I said, the posted speed limit was 65. So using standardized total stopping distance tables for large buses, and I'll list the sources of this materials in the description below. A school bus going 60 miles an hour is traveling at about 88 feet per second or 26.8 meters per second. That means that a bus would go about 66 feet or 20.1 meters from the time that the driver saw the hay bale and then was able to react and apply the brakes. Assuming the bus's brakes were in good working condition and crash scene photos show that the roadway conditions look to be dry, the standardized braking distance we can assume would be about 180 feet or 54.7 meters. I calculate that the stopping distance, the total stopping distance, to be about 246 feet or 75 meters. So my final comments on this bus crash is based on the news reports. The driver of the truck and trailer where the hay bale fell off his vehicle should be issued a traffic citation for failure to properly secure his cargo per section 307.010 of Title 19 of the Missouri State Code. This is a Class C misdemeanor in Missouri and is punishable by a fine of not to exceed $700 or up to 15 days in jail. My opinion is the truck driver is 100% responsible for this crash. My final comment on this bus crash is the school bus driver did a fantastic job controlling this bus after crashing into the hay bale and bringing it safely to the stop, keeping the bus upright and not overturning. I think we're very fortunate that there were no serious injuries. Again, the bus driver in this bus crash, I consider a hero. Okay, so that wraps up this episode of School Bus Talk. Remember, safety is essential.